This is from guys at Pro Football Focus. I mean, they're putting out content, so I'm gonna take it in. They have a list of players, and Zach, as always, I appreciate you helping me along on this one. They have of the 2025 NFL Draft a buyer beware of these prospects.
Okay.
And there's a couple of guys on here that I know that
they're all Wolchuk's pet cats.
Well, there's a couple of like
to rip this article to shreds.
I was about to say, because when I saw this, I thought Wolchuk's going to love this because he's going to not be too happy with some of these guys.
Kick this author's ass.
This is Dalton Wasserman. Wasserman?
Dalton Wasserman.
Wasserman.
Keep going. You're getting there.
You know what? Initially I can't
attempts.
get the name.
You're a volume shooter. Well, you're going to see one go in here in a second.
Yeah. Okay.
Once you get them, though, you remember them.
I try.
Shout out to second grade.
What are you talking about? Can't remember anything. Okay, these are some of the players that they're talking about that you should avoid into the draft season as we go. Zach, one of the first ones that they have I want to run by you is edge rusher Jalon Walker from Georgia. And there's people, including myself, that could see Dallas potentially taking this guy at 12. But here he is on this list. Are you agreeing? Now, let me read to you what they say.
What they say. I'll give them their due. What they say about it.
His consensus big board rank for Pro Football Focus is at 13.
Huh.
So that's kind of where he's at. You know, he's right there in that range where Dallas is going to pick. But they're saying Walker's one of the hottest names in the scouting circles as someone who is likely to convert from linebacker to edge rusher.
Oh, you don't
like
say.
Micah Parsons and Abdul Carter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, they're saying that Walker also just earned a 72.5 pass rush grade when lined up on the edge in 2024. He's not quite as far along as somebody like Carter or like Parsons. Do you feel like, though, that they're wrong about him? Now, you've talked about him. You think he's an edge.
I think that's where he's at his best, is just going after the quarterback and rushing. So, yes, I would try and play him at edge as much as possible.
See, I see him as a linebacker because I was talking to Gang of Seven guys about this, and I was worried about at 245, is he going to get swallowed up as just an edge rusher? Playing that type of, or just playing the edge.
So I think the league is starting to trend more so to a lot of those guys are playing edge now. It's like the slider receivers. You're starting to see guys that the weight profile doesn't match what we had a decade ago. Mm-hmm. But a lot of these guys now are coming in, like even a Mike Green, right? He's not considered, like the weight, that was a concern for some guys. Right. And he's probably weighing in, I saw him at 235 at the Senior Bowl. I've got Walker playing at 245 during the season in Georgia.
Me too. That's what I was thinking.
So, I mean, to me, that's just not as much of an issue for me. I don't see the sideline to sideline off ball coverage ability as a linebacker, but he is able to do linebacker. Like is he just as good a linebacker as Micah Parsons is from what you see Micah Parsons do every day in the NFL? And when you talk, without the coverage range, yes. But I mean, how often Micah can run with guys downfield in coverage. I don't think Jalon Walker has the same type of speed down the field that Parsons has. But Walker shows more pass rush tape than what Micah showed coming out of Penn State.
There's no question about that.
I mean, he took over the Texas game. I think everybody points to that.
Yeah,
he is a game wrecker at times. It's just the lateral quickness for me is what makes me a little bit nervous if I were to play him full time as an off-ball linebacker.
But you think he's just as a full-time edge?
I think he's the second best edge. Well, the third best edge behind Carter, Mike Green. I've got him as the seventh best player in the draft on my stack.
There you go. I'm kind of with you on this. So I disagree with Pro Football Focus here.
I would take him for the Cowboys if they took him. I'd be very happy.
Okay, how about this one? Defensive tackle, and we're all kind of hunting up defensive tackles. I know Chief and I this morning we were talking about. On Love of the Star, talking about defensive players. Tackle's always something, edges, that get thrown in there quite a bit. But here's Deion Walker from Kentucky. And they're saying this is a player you should avoid. Walker led all FBS defensive tackles with 51 pressures in 2023, also maintaining an 8 81.7 run defense grade, but his production dropped off in 2024 primarily due to consistent issues maintaining proper pad level.
Yeah, well, yes. I mean, he's 6'6".
Yeah.
So he plays very high. He does. And that's an issue for him. Consistency is an issue. He can be stood up as an edge rusher, but he's very difficult to handle 1v1. Two-time team captain. Also, I mean, he was a stud playing basketball in high school. Guy's just an athletic freak. But I could understand being more scared about Deion Walker compared to some other defensive tackles. And a lot of it is because the size is unusual for his position, the height of it.
Yeah, 6'6", 345. He is, there's some violence to his game, but his technique can be all over the place when you watch him play. And I think also as well as the production that he has.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's what I'm worried about, Dawson. I'm worried about a guy that he's like, okay, you fall in love with the size. You think this guy can handle it, and all of a sudden he's playing really upright. He's kind of getting moved a little bit. His technique's all over the place. But you kind of see him play with power, and you see him kind of as a bully. And so I'm having trouble with him, but I lean more towards Pro Football Focus about avoiding him. I wouldn't feel comfortable taking this.
There's
guy.
other defensive tackles I like more. I'm okay with him being on an avoid list.
Okay.
I do like the idea, the concept of trust the tape that our buddy Jeff came up with years ago.
Yeah.
If a guy can get it done, he's getting it done. What level of competition is he getting it done against?
Yeah. There's times of him getting it done, and there's also times where he's just not even non-existent as a player.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, how does this happen with a guy that's 6'6", 345?
Yeah,
why is he so wildly inconsistent here?
I have in my notes he's a true upside type of player. Coach is going to see his skill set and say, let me see what I can do and get out of him.
Ugh.
But the production wasn't always there.
And I don't know these coaches all that well here. Not yet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what, if they could or could.
I do think coaches overestimate themselves in these situations. They fall in love with the traits.
I had a coach one time tell me Kerry Collins, he's got a hitch in his throw-in motion to quarterback. He's coming up Penn State. He goes, I can fix that. Kerry Collins played like 15 years, and nobody ever fixed the hitch in his.
It'd be a great case study because I would bet there's more traits players that don't pan out than the ones that didn't have the production but had the traits, like a Daniil Hunter at LSU that then ended up being a badass. Like he had 4.5 sacks his entirety of his career at LSU. And then he ends up being awesome. I think more of the dude, I need to see the production in college or else I'm not in love with you.
Especially now. I mean, they're playing for money. I think there are some examples where super talented guys who are inconsistent, they have a life event that happens and they turn it around. They become motivated once they get to the pros. They mature. But I think those are the exception. If a guy is in college and at this point getting paid and fighting for an NFL future and he can't stay focused, he can't stay consistent, that's a wiring issue more than likely.
Okay. The last guy I want to talk about here, and this is a player I have a first-round grade on, and it's cornerback Benjamin Morris from Notre Dame. And this one is not so much, Morris's situation is not so much about the opinion about him, it's about his lingering doubts about his health. Played in 6 games this past season, earning a career-low 68.4 coverage grade before missing the rest of the season due to a hip injury. His medical reports at the Combine will be extremely important. He's a first-round talent, but as his coverage skills are diminished due to the injury, he may have a hard time finding success in the NFL. Well, Chuck, where are you on Benjamin Morris, cornerback out of Notre Dame?
I love the player.
I do too.
The tape's incredible. And in fact, if it weren't for the hip, I'd be advocating as maybe an option as high as 12 for the Cowboys. I really would.
Yeah.
But a cornerback that has had 2 hip injuries and had to have hip surgery that ended his season in October scares the hell out of me.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The tape is so good in the way that he's able to cover, the way he's able to play, stay in man coverage, stay in sync with the receivers that he's playing against, his ability to drive in the middle of the field, knock balls down, kind of ball hawk some stuff. The hip thing, I guarantee it's probably not going to be great. And that's the disadvantage that we have doing this. How bad are these injuries? And we'll learn about him. But I'll tell you what, if he was there at 44, I would sure consider him.
Hey, that's a Blue Star special in the second round. And if you hit on it, you're getting a hell of a player.
Yeah. you're getting a first-round player for sure.
Absolutely.
That way. So those are some guys, Dawson and Chief, that you need to avoid in this draft, according to Pro Football Focus.